Hey guys, welcome in to the Livable Forest. Today we are going to go over what vendors can expect briefly, and then I will drop isolated videos inside of Vend Like a Boss within the community. So make sure that you're getting my notifications and they're turned on. I know I send out a lot of notifications, but there's more people on this platform that they're vendors, and then there's just regular community members. So I send them things out, such as information about various things that we have going on in the community, and it's a lot of different things. So you'll get notifications throughout the day as well too. But if you're not one of those people who like to receive notifications, like push notifications, that's okay. Just check your phone at least once or twice a day, because when you open up your app, those notifications are going to pop up anyway. Okay, so this is the playbook for the Woodlands October 4th and the Kingwood October 25th Booth Fest. Okay, we'll cover everything you need to know: setup, communication, booth map, prep, booth prep, and how to crush it with a big crowd. So this is one thing that has came up really over the last couple of months, where I would have vendors who are just now starting out, and they are so terrified of signing up for Booth Fest. Not because they don't think they can, not because of the what it is that they don't feel like they have enough inventory. And let me tell you something. It's okay if you don't have enough inventory the first time around. It is better to sell out because you didn't have a whole lot than have to take all that stuff home anyway. I've had vendors at Booth Fest, they sold out within the first, we start Booth Fest at 4 o'clock. They would have sold out of their product by 7:30, 8 o'clock. And what they do is they just close down their booth. They turn off their booth lights. They will put all their stuff underneath their table or whatever. And then they go out and shop and enjoy the market for themselves. Like, it's a successful night, in my opinion, at that point. Even when you are looking at, oh, I can't do Booth Fest, I don't have thousands of products. You don't need thousands of products, babe. You don't. What you need is a good amount to get through half the event. If you sell out before then, that's a bonus, y'all. That is a huge bonus, okay? Also, for you new vendors out there that are wanting to participate in Booth Fest, each Booth Fest has different rules, okay? And a lot of it has to do with food vendors. So for the Woodlands, you have to have, if you're a food vendor of any type, if you're selling beverages or if you're just selling food, you have to have, like, especially the people who do the squeezed lemonade and stuff like that, y'all have to have a temporary food permit for both locations. For the Woodlands, you have to have insurance, liability insurance, and you have to list township on that insurance. All that information is in the vendor on the vendor market page. I have it. I will link it in this video. Please, for the love of all mercy, please read through that, because what happens is I get a lot of questions and a lot of questions and calls and emails about things that are actually in the vendor on the vendor page, and it's crazy because the people who do this, they literally will go to the vendor market page, like the vendor information page that I'm going to link for you guys, and they'll skip over all the important information. They'll skip over the booth pricing. I don't know why. They'll skip over instructions on how to book your booth. They'll go straight to the vendor form, and that's it. They won't do anything else. They won't say anything else, but they'll load me up with a bunch of questions that are literally on that page. Read the information. Like, the way you're supposed to read this information is like if you're reading information when it comes to this is your job at the end of the day. When you're enrolling your kids and they're asking all these questions, you're reading the information. When you're going to the doctor's office, you're reading over a contract, reading over anything that has anything to do with you spending money or partnering or whatever, read it, please. Once you read the information, you fill out your vendor form. If you have any other questions outside of that or want some clarification, then that's fine. But to go in and just fill out the vendor form and then just bombard me with a bunch of questions that are on, because all I'm going to do is redirect you back to the vendor information page because it's all on there. Okay, even where you get your permits for the Woodlands Boo Fest, because you have to have the liability insurance and you have to have the temporary food permit. The health inspector will be there. There is, and this is the thing about some food vendors, and I'm not calling anybody out, but this I've noticed across the board. I understand how expensive it is to run a food establishment, okay? I get it. I definitely understand it. However, if you're going to be in that line of work, you have to be in compliance. You have to, or all your hard work is going to go literally down the drain. The health inspector has came out to my events and have shut booths down because they refuse to do their due diligence. Spend the money, what's the purpose of you being in the food industry if you're not willing to spend the money to stay legal? Because like I said, all your hard work is just going to go down the drain. Spend the money, get the paperwork that you need, get the license, the permits, whatever you need, and be in compliance, okay? Because if they shut you down at the Woodlands, they're not going to allow you to keep going. They're going to call me, tell me what's going on, and shut it down, and most likely have you escorted off the property. To avoid all of that embarrassment, just get the information that is needed, okay? And I have that information for that particular venue, for the Woodlands Boo Fest, because they're strict. They're strict, and they should be, because nobody should have to actually do this. Like, nobody should have to put that in writing for people, but people are they're cutting corners. And really, I personally don't want vendors that cut corners in their business. If you need help or you need guidance, or say you're not able to get something or do something, I'd rather you come and tell me and let us figure out a plan of action so we can get you at market legally. That's what I'd rather you do, or I can find somebody that can help you get there. But just showing up and crossing your fingers and throwing Hail Marys is not going to cut it. It's not. And you can't do that in your business, because then it's going to come crashing down eventually. Somebody's going to get upset or jealous or envious or whatever. And then they're just going to ruin it for you because they know you're not in compliance anyway, right? So anyways, make sure you have that stuff. Now for Kingwood, you don't need to turn that stuff into me. For the Woodlands, you have to, because I have to give all that information to Township to give to their health department. That's just the rules. I'm not arguing with them. Don't need to argue. You should have it. For Kingwood, however, you need a temporary food permit. It's not required that you have liability insurance. It's encouraged that you do, but you don't have to have it. It's a little bit easier in Harris County, in my opinion. It's really not, actually, because if you're under the cottage law in Harris County, now you have to actually go and get an application, fill it out. You got to send it to me. I got to sign it, do the whole 9, send it back to you, and then you got to turn it back in for them to give you the clearance to be able to vend as a Texas cottage law. I already have one, and it's crazy because out of all the 6 food vendors, I only have one business that has literally, and they did it within, they booked their market for the Woodlands Boo Fest and for Kingwood Boo Fest, and already within 24 hours gave me their liability insurance, and they gave me their temporary food permit for both locations, for both locations. And that's how I would expect people to do it, but not everybody is in that position to do it. And I understand that too, because I've been there before. I used to sell coffee and stuff at my markets. And if you want to do with the milk and the da-da-da-da and all the zazz, you have to have your permits and stuff. So I understand. So one thing I am going to do, though, is update the information on the vendor event information page, where it includes how to find your food permit for Harris County, which I think I have it, but it's at the bottom. But I'm going to go ahead and put it up there where the Woodland stuff is, because it's very important. Okay. What else? Let's talk about load-in and setup times. So for the Woodlands, we're doing it different this year. Y'all not all coming at once because of the blockage that it caused last year. I've contacted the commissioner for the Woodlands about the parking lot, the library parking lot, because that's what I was told, who makes that decision, to see if my vendors only, can use that as parking. At the very least, a place to park and load in or something, you know. And we'll have somebody at the gate or at the entrances of that. I think it's like 1 or 2 entrances who will check vendors in, and they'll have a list of the vendors that are supposed to be there, and they would have to show proof that they're a vendor as well too. So, and I would also have it to where, matter of fact, the easiest way to do that is create a badge in the app, and then you just show it. That's all you have to do. So I'll create a badge for all the vendors, and only the people who are vendors would be able to see that, will be able to show that badge. Excuse me. So how the load-in times will start, we'll start at 8 a.m. and we'll go to 12. 8 a.m., that's the first row. The first, because we're doing it by rows. First row is going to come in at 8 o'clock. You're going to pull up your car, whether that's in the front or it's in the back. And I'll probably have you pull up in the front. And it's like the first 25 people. At 8 o'clock, you have to be there, because I'm giving you about an hour before I have the next load-in come. You will pull up. You will go to your spot. We're going to have the little, they're laminated pieces of paper with booth numbers on it. And we're going to stake them into the ground. You go to your spot. You unload all your stuff. You go park your car. There isn't any, let me unload my stuff and let me start setting up before I move my car. There isn't, you can't do that. There's not enough room and space for that. You have to unload and leave and go park your car. Unload, because I already know there's people who like, because even in Kingwood, they will fight you to the death to try to not, they just don't do it. And I don't understand why, but you need to unload your car with all your stuff. With all your stuff. Please bring a wagon, put a dolly, whatever you have to do. Unload it all. Roll it across to where your spot is. Somebody, you, your helper, your spouse, your friend, your kid, y'all need to go and park the car. Park the car in the designated event space parking, which is down the street on Lake Robinson. I'll have a map of that inside of the group as well too. Another thing, or I'll have a list of all the event parking spaces that are free parking out there that have their addresses, and you just plug it into Google Maps and then you can go and park your car. Okay? I say this because we don't want people's things to get damaged. We don't want to cause unnecessary traffic. It's just smoother when you do a row by row. So 8 o'clock, the first row, you're going to get on. This is why the deadline is very important. September 5th is the deadline for all bookings to be complete. If you want to because this is how I look at it. I've been promoting this event since last year's Boo Fest. Because I book out annually. Since last year's Boo Fest. You knew when you went to Boo Fest last year if you were coming back this year. I've been promoting since last year. It is August 9th, Saturday at 11:54 a.m. You know if you're coming or not. September 5th is the deadline because there's things that need to be happening between September 5th and October 2nd, okay? Between you and I and between me and Township, okay? Now, another reason for the deadline is because we need that month to work out any kinks, to get any last minute switcheroos, any last minute paperwork in, because I already know there's going to be those people, and it's okay. It's really not, but it's okay. There's going to be those people out there who do not follow directions. I don't know what it is. They just don't follow directions. They'll get all the information and they will actively say, okay, September 5th is the deadline. Okay, I'm going to reach out to her September 20th and see if I can get in. You probably won't. And if you wait until after September 5th to get into Boo Fest, you're going to end up paying an additional fee to get into Boo Fest. So, and there won't be any payment plan. There won't be any of that. There just won't be. It's either you're getting in now or you're not. or you're going to end up paying more than what you should have to, okay? So 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. is set up. We have 4 rows. I think it's 4 rows. And we're going to, you're going to be able to come in according to your row. September 5th, you will also receive your time to be there. Be there, not getting there. Be there. So if your loading time is at 8 o'clock, you need to be there at 8 o'clock. You need to be there at 8 o'clock a.m. ready to go. If prepare the night before. I mean, it's almost like you're going to work. This is some people, I don't know what it is. There are those vendors out there where this is all they got. This is all they do. They don't do nothing else. Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and weekday farmers markets, they depend on that income and that traffic to pay their bills. Those are the vendors that be on it. They be showing up on time. They do all the marketing they're supposed to be doing for the event. They make sure they're in compliance. They have their inventory ready. They are on it. They know it. It's the vendors that are like, I have a full-time job. I do this on pastime, and they treat it like that. But what happens is you keep treating it like that, treating it like it's just a pastime, then other people around you are going to treat you like a pastime. They're not going to take you seriously at market because you're going to show up like it's a pastime, right? So treat it like it's a job. Like, this is your job. This contributes to your livelihood. This contributes to you feeding your family. Okay, this is a job. So be here on time. That's all I'm at, on time. I'm on time. I show up. I do all the setup. I'm going to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, putting up decorations and doing all the things. And I'm going to be just a couple of weeks postpartum, okay? And I'm going to be on time to make sure the community that we're serving that day is going to have a really good time, okay? So I expect the same type of energy from you guys. So listen, be there on time. You pull up, you unload, then park before setting up. Vendor maps drop September 5th, and Been Like a Boss Livable Forest group. We have groups on the Livable Forest. In case you didn't know, you can create your own groups and all that, okay? Communication, app only. I don't do email communications when it comes to vendor information anymore because things get lost. It's just a mess. We have a designated group where I will drop videos like this. I will drop this video on other platforms, but it goes into my vendor group, and everybody in that group gets notified via email at one time and app notification at the same time within seconds after I post this video, okay? That's where you're gonna check all your updates, okay? And if you miss something, it's okay. If you see the notification pop up on your screen, don't panic, because when you go and you push the notification, it's gonna pop up. When you open the app, it's gonna pop up. Will there be other notifications? Yes. Just swipe through those if you don't care and get to the part that you do care about, okay? We have booth assignments. You will be assigned a booth. Last year, I had a couple of people, the lady and the guy wanted to jump me because they said that I put them all the way in the back. Well, guess what? Guess what? I put them in the back, and I put them in the best spot. They left, right? That was where the trackless train was and the food trucks were. There was hundreds, if not thousands of people back there. It was so crowded back there. The train, I had to get 2 trains this year because the line was so long and those people were buying stuff all the time. And I'm like, I had them literally set up within about 5 feet from the train line. And they were selling children's light up toys. And and I don't like, people are like, well, you're putting them on a spot. No, because there's so many people that sell that stuff, so nobody knows. But the fact is, don't complain about where I put you, because in the events that I host, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter. You're always going to get foot traffic. There's going to be enough people for everybody, okay? Enough people for everybody. The way Town Screen Park is, there's entrances from the back, the sides, the front. There's no telling where people are coming from. We are surrounded by apartments and townhomes out there and residences, along with their Market Street shopping with HEB. It's going to be really, 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 really busy. It's going to be very busy. I've dropped my videos. I've shown everybody the videos because I've had some doubters, and that's okay. That's okay. That's expected, okay? But listen, your booth assignments have already been determined, and it's really based off of when you book. Because if you book, so if you're the first vendor, you're going in the first spot. So on and so forth, up and down the line. The only people that will be strategically placed are food trucks. So I'll allow 4 food trucks on one side at the back. I could have them on both sides. It really just depends on where the train is going to go. But they can go on both sides. But I'll have 2 at the front, two or 3 at the front, and then 4 at the back. That's 7. That's 7 food trucks. Okay, 7. That's enough food trucks. I have one more spot, I think, for food trucks at the Booth Fest, and that's it. 1 or 2 more spots, and that's it. What else? Electricity. Electricity is literally only for Town Screen Park, is only on the outskirts. Actually, both venues on the outskirts of the park. So if you need electricity and you just happen to be in the middle, bring one of those big battery block things that you can get literally anywhere. You can get at any camping store, any store that sells camping supplies, hell, any store that sells auto supplies. Is it like $100, depending on how fancy you want it? Charge that bad boy up, and it should last you 4 hours. And it has all the different types of plugs. That way you don't have to stretch. Like, this is for the people who are trying to get into this. They want to bring these long extension cords, but there's a problem with that, and I'm going to tell you about the extension cord issue first. But let me tell you, get the big brick, electric brick, charge it up, use that that's your power station for your booth. You don't have to share with everybody if you don't want to. You don't have to worry about tripping hazards. You don't have to worry about taping your stuff all the way down or staking it all the way down to wherever the electricity is. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And especially if you're going to be doing this as like part of your revenue stream for your business, drop the little funky $150, $1 to $150, and bring you a little power station block. I understand some people are going to say, well, that's an expense. We already have it costs money to do stuff like this. It costs money. It costs money. And it's like a one-time investment. You're not sitting up here and buying it over and over and over and over. But the reason why I say do that is because if you bring the extension cord and we're on grass, you still have to stake that stuff down for trip hazard purposes. So then you got to go out and buy the little shoe horse stakes, and you have to stake that sucker all the way down to wherever the cord is. Why would you want to do that? That's labor intensive, okay? Why? That's why I'm saying, that's why I have my booking deadlines and stuff, because then if you're already booked, okay, you can start focusing on the little nitty gritty things. That's why I have it to where if you do the payment plan, it still opens you up for cash flow, because I understand dropping $250 on a booth could be a lot for some people. But if you're only paying $125 up front, and then you don't have to pay the other $125 until September 5th, you got that other $125 that you would have spent to go buy essential stuff like that, right, for your booth. And then you can use it for all your vendor markets that you attend across town, okay? So I'm just saying, electricity. You're gonna need booth lights. I've had vendors come out. To market literally with no booth lights for a night market. It does not make any sense at all. So just come out with the booth lights. What you can do is, I've seen people go and get their Christmas lights, wrap it around the top of their booth. I've seen people bring floor lamps, table lamps. You just need enough light to light your merchandise around in the thing you're underneath your booth. When somebody comes to your booth, they should be able to see clearly everything on your table. They should be able to, and if you got one of those open booths where it's not really tables but people can walk in, people should be able to see clearly what it is that you have in that booth. You should be able to see clearly who walks into your booth, right? Bring booth lights. You can literally get creative. You can go to Walmart, you can go to IKEA, you could go literally anywhere. Go to your closet and pull out them white Christmas lights. Do that. Another thing about booths, this is a Halloween event. This is a trick-or-treating event for the children. This is all about the kids. Essentially, this is all about the kids. The kids, they come out, they come dressed up, they come with their trick-or-treating bags. And the purpose is they go and they drag their parents to booth to booth to booth to booth so they can snag some candy. It's as simple as it gets for them, okay? They don't care about nothing else. They want to ride the trains for free. They want to go and eat candy. And they want to see their friends. And they want to look at costumes. And they want to feel a Disney-like experience in their community. That's as simple as it gets for the K through 5 community, okay? As simple as it gets. Now, for the adults, you're like, okay, so what about the adults? As the children are dragging their parents from booth to booth, that is your opportunity to talk about your products. Because yes, the kids are getting their candy, but guess what? Those parents are actually shopping too. They're looking at what you have in your booth. They're looking for immediate things for themselves. They're looking for birthday gifts, anniversary gifts, Christmas gifts. They're looking for just things. And another thing, if I was a vendor, I know it's a Halloween event, but guess what? If you're like me and some of my friends, we start looking for Christmas gifts in October. By mid-November, we're done. So like, unless we go and look for last minute gifts, this is the time where you're not just selling Halloween stuff, okay? You're selling holiday stuff too. So all those wreath makers out there, yes, it's beautiful to have your Halloween decor, because luckily for you, if you're going to the Woodlands, it's at the beginning of October, right? By the time mid-October, that last 2 weeks of October, people have already started buying fall and Christmas decor. So at that booth fest, you might get some Halloween stuff, but you're probably going to see a little bit more fall, if anything, a little bit more fall. But if you're going to vend at the Woodlands, in my opinion, I would have, if I'm a wreath maker especially, or if I'm somebody who makes seasonal items, I would have it across the board. I would have a little bit of Halloween, some fall, and some Christmas. Hell, I'll probably splash in some New Year's. Because you don't know what people are shopping for, and you don't know what their time limit is to shop for these types of things. And if they want to support a small business, it's good for that small business owner to have a little bit of everything. You don't have to go full blown out Halloween, okay? Also, for the candy part, bring candy. I've had a couple of vendors in the past where they'll go buy one bag of candy. It's 250 pieces of candy, or 500. And that's all they would buy. And I'm just like, why would you come to a Halloween event that is geared toward children to trick or treat at with one bag of candy? Well, Tiffany, that bag of candy costs $30. Okay, but look, I'm telling you right now, if your booth don't have any candy, it might get skipped. And you could lose, because I set it up, and I know some people are like, I can't believe you would set it up. I set it up like this for a reason. So everybody can have an opportunity to have somebody, or a couple of people, or a couple of hundred people, or thousands of people stop by their booth. So nobody in my market can say, nobody stopped by my booth. Impossible. It's impossible. There's no way. They're lying. Okay? Because the way it's set up, every booth has candy. So they're going to start from the back or from the front, or wherever entrance they come, they're going to start at that booth, and they're going to make their way up to the last booth. Okay? That's what they're going to do. And if you don't have any candy, because you were A, being too cheap, B, you weren't prepared because you waited until the last minute, then you might get skipped. You might get skipped. And we don't want that to happen for no reason. So go to Sam's, go to Costco. I don't understand. People like to go to HEB. There's nothing wrong with HEB, but they don't have a lot of they're for the price of the candy, the bags of candy compared to HEB, compared to Whole Foods, Sam's and Costco's is vastly different. Start buying your candy. It's August. Start buying your Halloween candy in September. Even if they don't have it at Costco's or Sam's right now, I would still go buy like a pack of 150. Go buy a pack, okay? Just buy something. Every time you go grocery shopping once a month or once a week, pick up a bag of candy. You should not run out of candy at a Halloween trick-or-treating event. It just doesn't make any sense. It's really unacceptable when people tell me it's the first hour and they ran out of candy. I'm like, how? How do you run out of candy? So think about that, okay? Food vendors, you too. I have food trucks. They're so caught up in their food and stuff, they forget they're part of the experience. Have you some candy available for those kids too, okay? It's fun. It's part of what makes the event outside of the actual shopping, okay? Listen, another thing, if you want to decorate your booth, go all out. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. Do you want to dress up? Dress up. When the vendors participate and they're not so caught up in just making money, and they're more focused on the community's experience, making the money isn't going to be the hard part. It's not hard. If a kid comes to your booth, you got plenty of candy, you're lit up, you're dressed up all awesome and cool, your booth is lit up and it's kind of decorated too, your products are well displayed, you're selling cool stuff or your product or whatever it is. Like some of you soap makers and candle makers, get some themed candles, get some themed shaped soaps or whatever. Make it an experience. When somebody comes and says, I'm going to Boo Fest, especially this early in October, I'm going to the Woodlands Boo Fest, I can't wait because I want to get some of those Halloween shaped soaps, or I want to get some fall scented candles or whatever. You are part of the experience of the market. I love theme markets because when I used to go to theme markets all over Texas, when I go to people's booth, especially during the Halloween and the Christmas time, and they look like Christmas or that particular season threw up on their booth in them, I was excited. I wanted to buy more from them because they put me in a festive mood. They made me feel like I'm being immersed into this event. Like I'm having a real experience. Same thing with the food. Same thing even if you're selling clothing. If it's October, I want to go to your booth, especially this early. I want to be able to snag some fall sweaters, some cute ones. You know, the ones with the graphics with the little cute that says boo and all that. Like I want to grab some cute stuff. I want to be able to get me a cute shaped bag. And if you're not into like character bags and stuff, I want some fall bags. I want to feel autumnal. Okay. That's me though. Because when I go to these markets, depending on the time of year, I want to be thrown in, so immersed with the music, with the vendors, with the vibe all around me into that holiday season. That is why I tell vendors, if you're going to participate in themed events, you're either going all in or you're not going at all. So I'm just giving you some things to help bring more people to your booth. I'm giving you some tips on to make the experience better for the community, especially if you want to be a part of themed events. Themed events are very popular, very, very, very popular, and people love to go, but they don't just go to shop. They go to be immersed, okay, in that theme. I hope that makes sense. What else? What else can we talk about? Okay, another thing. Download the app. I already told you guys that. Download the app. Last thing we're going to talk about is marketing your events when it comes to the livable forest. Now, listen. I have heard for years that event coordinators don't want people creating event pages for their markets. Look, I don't know why. I don't care why. Because at the end of the day, my vendors, you guys, I highly encourage you to do this. You know why? Because I don't market individual vendors. I market the event, okay? The overall event. That's what I do. I talk about what's going to be there. I don't talk about who is going to be there. I talk about what's going to be there as far as community and free attractions and, you know, what the community can expect and all of that. I don't talk about individual vendors, okay? My vendors, you need to create event pages for the events that you are participating in with the Livable Forest. I highly encourage it, and let me tell you why. One, this is what I do require though. When you do create event pages for the Livable Forest, as for your particular business, saying that you're going to be attending, you have to let those people know that this is not the official event page for the Livable Forest event, okay? You have to put that disclaimer, and then you need to put the link to the original page that is created for the event so people don't get confused, because then some people might think you're trying to scam. So to prevent that, just at the bottom of the description of the description of the event, just put not official event page, here's the link to that, or something that's similar, right? And that's it. But the reason why you need to create your event pages is because if I have 150 people creating event pages for Booth Fest, that brings so much more traffic to the event, okay? So you need to create your event page. Everybody who's creating an event page for the Livable Forest, it's going to do anything. It's not going to do anything but benefit you and the people who are attending market. Now, what you could do in that event page, you could be pre-selling. You could be talking about your business. You could be, and when I'm talking about your business, not just getting in there and just posting products, which is highly beneficial, actually. You should be doing that. But what you could also be doing is going live on your event pages and talking about your excitement for the event, why you are deciding to participate in this event, what you plan on bringing. You could be not only could you be pre-selling for pickup at the market, but you can also be running a special for that particular event. There is so many things that you could be doing in your event page as a vendor to gain traction at market, because your event page is for your audience, okay? My audience is not your audience. When people come to my event page, they're just looking for information on what's going to be happening at the event, deciding if they want to go or not, right? But if I was a vendor, your people are not following me. They probably don't even know I exist. They're following you because they like you and what you have to offer. So you need to make them excited about coming. Lastly, what you need to do is share the event. It's August 9th, Saturday, 12:37 p.m. If you haven't shared this event that you're attending at least once today, you're doing yourself a total disservice. And you don't have to share mine. Share the event page you created. Just do that. Just share the event page you created. Therefore, the traffic comes back to you. Okay? If that's what it's about, the traffic needs to come back to you. I personally feel like it should go back to you. But seriously, share the event. I tell people, like, if I'm going to fall events, you start sharing that stuff now so people can plan. Everybody wants to share the event a week before, like as if people's lives work that way. If I'm a mom, I got kids in school, we got all these things to plan, and you're telling me a week in advance, hey, come to this market that's in the Woodlands, and I live in Kingwood or anywhere else, and I don't have a problem driving, but I need more than a week in advance. If you start sharing the event now and telling people now about it and getting it in their minds, they could put it on their calendar, it'd be synced up with their Google and Apple calendars now. So then they know what's happening. They know it's there. I don't understand why vendors don't share months in advance. I have no idea. It's like, you're not telling people to come to your wedding a week in advance. Like, it works the same thing. Like, people tell me, why are you promoting this event? It's not happening until next year. Because you'll be very surprised. People are busy. People have jobs. People have children. We don't have time to just throw last minute things onto the calendar. We need to know what's happening 6 months to a year in advance. Okay, we don't need last minute, hey, come to my event. We don't need that. No, at least not for me, because I ain't going. I'm not going because I'm already stretched thin. Okay, so yeah, do that. Share the event. I tell people 3 times a day: share it in the morning, share it in the afternoon, share it in the evening time, whatever the most recent event coming up. If you're, so Booth Fest, we have 2 Booth Fests, one that happens October 5th and one that happens October 25th. Take half the week and share the one that you're, the first one, like I just stated, morning, noon, evening, and take the other half of the week and share the one that's happening later in the month, morning, noon, and evening. Go into your event page, drop what you're bringing once a day, once every couple of days. Stay active in your event pages. Let your community know what's happening, okay? Also, I always send out a push notification where we can all share the upcoming event on our Facebook pages, because what I do is when I send out the push notification, it opens up to my event page, the one that I made for the official event page, and we all hit share. All 285 of us hit share at one time. It's literally quick. It opens up, you hit share, it gets posted to your Facebook page or whatever page you're signed in up. You're signed in at the time. That's a lot of reach very quickly, extremely fast. So that's all for today's video. Tomorrow, if I can, I'll drop another video and we'll go in depth on marketing the events. I know I talked very briefly about it, but there's things that I think that vendors should be very aware of and things that they should be doing, and understanding that they're part of a team and they're just not a vendor at these markets. They actually play a major role on how this event turns out as well. It's not just the event coordinator that's responsible. It's literally everybody involved. So I'll see you guys then, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.